The Toronto Raptors acquired Brandon Ingram at the 2025 NBA trade deadline and signed him to a multi-year contract extension, signaling an attempt to revitalize his career after a somewhat disappointing tenure with the New Orleans Pelicans. The Raptors believe that Ingram, who was an all-star in 2020, is entering his prime and can become a key player on their roster. However, there have been a lot of doubters of the move, and people think the Brandon Ingram experiment in Toronto is going to end up being a massive failure. Some think this was even an act of desperation. But in this one, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't sleep on Brandon Ingram. We're going to talk about Brandon Ingram and what he means to the Toronto Raptors going forward. Do me a solid, drop a like on the video, guys, and smash that subscribe button for more content just like this. We are on the road to 41K. So you look at what the Raptors are getting in Brandon Ingram. He's going to help the Raptors half-court scoring and efficiency. The Raptors were 25th in half-court efficiency. You look at Ingram, he's one of the best creators out of the pick and roll, and he is a dynamic 3-level scorer. The Raptors are adding a solid 25 and 5 guy who can shoot the three, who's a legitimate one-on-one offensive threat, and he's going to give the Raptors an end of clock, end of game score. The Raptors, they have their guy in crunch time now, and Kawhi Leonard was the last guy who had the ability to go out there and get you a basket when you needed one. The Raptors have their definite closer now, and you look at Ingram, he was named an NBA All-Star back in the 2019-2020 season. I know it's a couple seasons removed from that, but he had a fantastic year. He did average 23.8 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 4.8 assists per game during that campaign. And he also shot 46.6% from the field and 39.1% from three. I mean, the Raptors would definitely take a season like that from Ingram in a heartbeat. But you look at Ingram, he can be the shot maker that the Raptors so desperately need. And of course, a lot has to go right. We're going to get to his health in just a second here. But if Ingram can carry that offensive load, it's going to open up the shooting of guys like Grady Dick and Emmanuel Quickley. Things are going to just click right into place if Brandon Ingram picks up the load. He's got to be as good or even better than he's ever been with the ball in his hands. Now, you look at the biggest concern with Ingram, it's his health. He hasn't played more than 64 games since his rookie season, and of course, his health is a big concern. Ingram, I mean, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, and he said most of his previous ankle injuries kept him out for a few weeks maximum, but this one kept resulting in swelling as he tried to ramp up his activity. And the Raptors, obviously, they're in a situation where they're trying to get a good draft pick, so they didn't want to rush him back. They shut him down for the rest of the season, and there was no reason to have Ingram rush back to play in the season that just was. But you look at it now, Ingram, he did take that extra time, and you're hoping now as a Raptors fan that we're not going to have any more setbacks, that this was an opportunity for Ingram to use that extra time to rest up that ankle, which means he won't suffer any other setbacks, and he's going to be the healthiest he's ever been in his career, and he's going to be 110%. And also, the Raptors are hoping that Alex McKechnie, the X factor in all of this, can work his magic on Ingram the same way he did with Kawhi. It's a lot to ask for here, but if McKechnie did it once, he could do it again. Now, you look at another concern that many people have about Brandon Ingram with this Raptors team, and it's a justifiable concern. It's the fit. How is this all going to work? You look at Ingram's shot making in the half court. It is going to help a team that badly needs that. And he is going to be able to complement Scottie Barnes' more pass-orientated game. However, when you look at the Ingram and RJ Barrett fit, it's going to be interesting because while they are different players, they do take up similar spots on the floor. And the Raptors, they are going to be starting Quickley, Ingram, Barrett, Barnes, and Pirtle. And really, when you look at that starting five, Emmanuel Quickley is the only high-volume three-point shooter on the floor. So the offense could get a little clunky when talking about spacing. Now, when you look at the other side of the ball, defensively, Barrett and Ingram, they're both going to have to level up to make sure that Scottie Barnes isn't having to absorb every tough wing assignment game in and game out. And Ingram, I mean, he did say he appreciated watching the Raptors play aggressively on defense during the season, and he knows that he can't mess that up. That's what he said. So it seems like Ingram is going to be locked in, and he's willing to commit to that end of the floor, because for as good as Ingram can be offensively, the Raptors are going to need him to pick up his slack defensively. So you look at it right now, of course, the Raptors, they are taking a big gamble on Brandon Ingram. They're hoping, they're praying it's going to pay off. The final verdict in all of this, I think Ingram with the Raptors is going to be a good experiment. I think it's going to go well. I know a lot of people are being pessimistic about it, being skeptical of it, but I'm going to lean towards Ingram having a very solid season in Toronto, and I'm actually going to go as far as saying that I think Brandon Ingram's got the best chance of making the All-Star team. And I know Scotty Barnes can have himself a really good shot at making the All-Star team, but I think Brandon Ingram, if he's going to have the type of season that I think he's going to have, of course, if he stays healthy, I think there's a realistic pathway that he makes the All-Star team in an Eastern Conference that is considered weaker. Of course, you're going to have star players out for the entirety of the season, and Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum. So the pathway for Ingram to make an All-Star team by being a big boost to this Raptors team, I think it's there. And Ingram, he will be the key if the Raptors ultimately land in the play-in playoff spot this season. I think it all falls on Ingram. I really do. I think for as good as Barnes can be, Quickly, Barrett, Brandon Ingram, if he has himself an all-star level season, I see a world where the Raptors, they do climb into that play-in and maybe even top 6 playoff spot. The number 6 spot could be a possibility for the Raptors if Brandon Ingram is as advertised and he can return to that all-star form that he once showed us. So the Raptors, of course, it's a big season for them, guys. They need to perform. This is an expensive team, and I think they're going to go as far as Ingram takes them. And I'm very excited to see how this is going to all play out. I think we all are at this point. Can't wait to see the season start. Of course, see how Ingram is going to be intertwined in this all, but it's going to be a season where results need to happen. The Raptors need to produce, or else we could see some more significant changes take place down the line. But for now, I remain optimistic about Brandon Ingram's fit with the Raptors, and I hope he can go out there and give this team some much needed scoring help and be that go-to guy that they have lacked for so many years now. So let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you think of my take of Brandon Ingram could become an all-star this season? How far do you think the Raptors go? What do you make of the Brandon Ingram experiment? What's your prediction ahead of the season? Do you think it's going to go well, or do you think it's going to go up in flames? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I read all of them. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. That is it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.